Summary of Secrets of Power Salary Negotiating. Inside Secrets from a Master Negotiator. By Roger Dawson. The Art of Negotiating. Before you can get a raise, you have to get a job, so create a resume that makes an employer want to interview you. Customize your resume to win a specific job. In the early stages of an application process, recruiters will quickly drop resumes that do not include the right background. Stress your achievements and problem-solving abilities. Because of U.S. anti-discrimination laws, there is no need to mention age, religion, marital status, or appearance. Start with a powerful headline that applies to the job you seek. Describe your capabilities, accomplishments, and job history. Send in your resume and call the recruiter about 3 days later to ask for an interview. If you are seriously pursuing a specific job, use cleverness to get an interview. Write an introductory letter saying how well you could do that job. Then, enlarge it to poster size and send it in. Or, mail in an old shoe with a note saying, "Now that I've got my foot in the door." Used appropriately, creativity and humor often can cut through the review process. Surviving the job interview. A job interview can be very intimidating. You may find yourself trying to impress a recruiter who has interviewed hundreds of people. Be prepared and well-rehearsed. Consider questions that could arise about matters that are not on your resume, such as salary, ethics, why you left your last job, and your strengths and weaknesses. The recruiter wants to learn if you can solve problems, motivate others, and fit the corporation's culture. In the interview, explain what you have accomplished and what you could do in the position. Try to display your credentials, abilities, and moral character and personality. Remember that the interviewer is also assessing your body language, presence, and charisma. If you have a special talent, talk about it. If the interview is not going well, ask to take a relevant skill test so that you can remain under consideration. When the recruiter invites your questions, ask about the company's competitors, advancement opportunities, and future direction. Discuss the follow-up procedure and the timeline for a hiring decision. After the interview, mail a handwritten thank you note and send an email, which passes along your contact information. The delicate question. Don't discuss money until after the recruiter shows a specific interest in you. Then, position the discussion in terms of a total pay package, including salary, bonus, options, travel allowances, benefits, 401k, training, relocation, and retirement. Let the recruiter know that you may have other offers. If the interviewer makes an offer and asks what salary you expect, say it is negotiable. Never disclose your past salaries. If you must explain your previous pay, put it in terms of the entire package, including benefits. When you name a salary amount, ask for more than you expect, but indicate your willingness to be flexible. If the offer is too low, take action. Send a letter with a counteroffer or ask for a new meeting. In face-to-face negotiations, you can see the person's body language and can gauge his or her intent. And, in person, you can conclude a deal on the spot with a handshake. Learn what salary your industry is paying for specific jobs. Employers set salaries by considering industry norms, your previous salary, and parity with similar jobs in the company. Once that is established, the employer is more interested in your abilities than in a dollar amount. Determine if the company has a hiring bonus. You can also ask for a salary review after 90 days. Top managers can negotiate severance packages when they are hired. Closing tactics. Closing tactics are techniques that get the other party to agree to something faster than normal. For example, silence is a powerful technique. When the employer asks your salary requirements, state them and remain quiet. In this quiet time, people reflect and often read extra importance into the moment. Remain positive. Assume that an employer will accept your offer. Once the employer decides that the company wants you, make a second effort to ask for what you want. At that point, the manager will be more willing to grant concessions. Often, being persistent in asking for small changes can be very persuasive. Bad vibes. If you left your previous employer on bad terms, that company's representatives are limited in what they can say to outsiders. Often, HR personnel will only confirm employment dates. They should never discuss salary. The new employer can ask one sticky question: would your old company hire you again? If you have been out of work, explain why truthfully. Reasons could involve caring for relatives, a medical leave, education, or traveling. Similarly, if you were fired, explain the situation. Negotiation also comes into play if you do get fired. In some cases, you might get a severance package, particularly if the company wants to avoid risking a lawsuit, keep you away from competitors, or avoid bad publicity. If you are fired, do not sign anything. Do not decline any severance package immediately. A company is not obligated to reoffer a package you reject. Becoming invaluable. To boost your salary negotiating power, become harder to replace. Show how you produce, save money, and make a difference. Develop your special talents or expertise, and make them known. Say you would forego a raise in exchange for a percentage of any profit increase in your area. This shows you are willing to work without a new increase, and that you are confident and dedicated. Have alternatives when you negotiate. That improves the odds that you will get what you want. Chart your choices compared to your employer's choices. When you ask for a raise, use 3 leverage points to accelerate the process. 1. Time is of the essence in business. When a department is short-staffed, or a position has been vacant too long, an employer is under pressure to hire. This is an advantage for you. Leverage points include how fast you can accept the new position, and how long it would take the firm to find someone else. Investing time in negotiating strengthens your hiring power because the employer gets to know you. The more time the company invests, the more the employer wants to recoup that investment by hiring you. To keep this edge, resolve any details before committing. 2. Information is power. Find out how long the position has been open, why the company is filling it, what happened to the old staffer, and how many people they have interviewed. Ask direct questions, such as, how much bonus did the previous employee receive? Even if you don't get an answer, the response is valuable information. Meet outside of the office. Ask open-ended questions to spur discussion. 3. Discussion over. When you think you are very qualified for a job, your greatest leverage rests with being able to reject the offer. If your bosses think you have other options, or are satisfied in your job, they have to raise the ante to get your attention. Gaining the advantage. Chess players and negotiators both use gambits, moves designed to gain an advantage. Be strategic. Salary negotiations can take minutes, but they represent thousands of dollars in salary over time. Know when to use these gambits to increase your negotiating power. Ask for more than you expect. This puts the negotiator on edge, since it expands the negotiation boundaries. It makes you more valuable and provides more room for the other side to look good. Don't state your bottom line, or you'll lose flexibility. Always reject the first offer or counteroffer. Flinch or show some physical reaction to the initial offer, such as a gasp or a surprised look. This carries great visual punch. Keep it friendly. Meetings often can provoke sharp responses as emotional discussions. Escalate. Set the tone. Be relaxed, cordial, and responsive. If your boss says that the budget is tight, agree. That shows that you see the other side. Then, present your ideas for increasing productivity. Being cordial gives you time to think. Sweetening the pot. Use the vice gambit. Say, you'll have to do better than that. This widens the negotiating range and shifts the burden to the other person. Then be quiet. Silence is powerful. You may wait minutes in complete silence for the other side to react. Often, the first side to speak will increase their offer to consummate the deal. Concentrate on the dollar amount of the savings, not the percentage of the deal. Saving $5,000 is significant on a $1 million deal or a $25,000 purchase. You can do it. Managers often say that a higher authority must approve your salary. That is often not true. It is just a non-confrontational way of pressuring you to alter your demands. This destabilizes your power. Don't fall for it. First, ascertain if they actually have the authority to make the decision. Ask if your proposal meets their needs, and if so, Can they make a decision today? Appeal to the decision maker's ego. Ask if the top executives usually accept their recommendations and get their commitment to promote your proposal. If they can't decide, find out who can. The only thing that can kill the deal is if the other party says he or she is just not interested. You could try to reach a deal that is subject to close, that is, contingent on one more step, such as passing a physical. Don't split the difference. This sounds reasonable, but if the initial offer is inflated, this suggestion means the other party has accepted your higher offer, with modifications. Question the policies. Employees commonly hear that the employer cannot grant a raise or approve a moving expense because it is not in the budget, or it violates company policy. Ask when the new budget goes into effect, and then adjust the date. Or find out who has the authority to change or overrule the policy, or if this is really a deal killer. Ask if the policy will be updated over time or modified to meet new situations. Learn to bargain. Making a trade-off is a basic negotiating technique. If you take on more work without getting compensated, you have just cut your price. Combat team tactics. The venerable, good guy bad guy technique is an old form of masked confrontation that pairs a friendly negotiator with a bullying partner. Tell them you know they are using this tactic. Then, let the bullying partner negotiate. Often, he or she is the one who digs the deeper hole and gets jettisoned from the table. Or, equate the two parties, and attribute low offers to them both. Other caveats and gambits include: don't make concessions that can be repeated and used against you. If you accept a $2,500 reduction in your request, don't accept any more cuts in that amount. Your counterpart knows you accepted that before and may expect you to do it again. Don't give away the farm. Unskilled negotiators often tip their cards and say too much. This eliminates your leverage. Hold your cards closely. Don't look weak. If you start making small concessions, an experienced negotiator will see that as an opening. The concessions will get larger and you'll look weak. Dead ends. Three terms that signal the end of negotiations have very different meanings. An impasse means there is no basis for further discussions. Break an impasse with the set-aside gambit, that is, move to resolve other issues first and return to the tough one later. A stalemate means both sides are talking, but not making progress. Break it by introducing new people, changing locations, discussing shared risks or changing the topic. A deadlock is rare and happens when the parties stop talking. The only cure is to introduce a third party to resolve the conflict. Making small concessions to get a larger one. Employers who want to appear to have control often will push for another advantage after you have an agreement. To counter this, and make them stop pushing and to let them feel like they have gained more, accept a small concession. Focus on the timing, not the concession. Negotiations should benefit everyone. The goal of negotiating is to manage the perception of winning. If the other parties get something they want, it will not weaken your case. Don't try to convince others that they are wrong. Don't narrow it down to just one issue. And don't try to get the last dollar off the table. Focus on your common interests and don't be greedy. Go for win-win conclusions.